Done? Hello, good morning. So these sessions would be of great use to you if you are writing this year's preliminary examination, and that would be a quick revision for you, yes? And I am assuming and presuming that you are already aware of all these topics and you have gone through all these topics, and then you have gone through the contemporary developments or current affairs also. It's a kind of quick revision for you, yes and no. And please remember that whether it is about the environment and ecology per se, or the so-called the science and technology, yes, yes. So these two are such subjects, you know, that they carry significant amount of weightage in your preliminary examination. You know that from each area you get around 15 to 18 questions and 15 to 18 questions. This largely would include certain concepts. We'll be focusing on certain concepts which are fundamentals, fundamentals which every candidate is supposed to be aware of, because these do not change over a period of time. These concepts do not change over a period of time, and quite often you do get questions from this. And if your concepts are clear, you can understand the applications, what you read in the newspaper in the form of contemporary developments. Hence, the second area would be about application or applications. For example, why it is important is, we have had a question earlier around 15 years ago in UPSC Civil Service preliminary examination, that why positioning of a refrigerator in the kitchen is not scientifically profitable or valid. You know that 95% of the households in India or across the world, where do they position the refrigerator? Forget about others. Where do you keep in your house? Where is the refrigerator in your house if you know where kitchen is? Yes and no? Where is it? Yes, where is it? But scientifically, it is a wrong place. You may know what is refrigerator, you may know the working principle of refrigerator, how it will reduce the temperature of the stuff you keep inside, whether it is fruits or vegetables or whatever the objects are, water, whatever it is. You may know it. But the question is not on the working principle of refrigerator, it is not directly on the concept, but application. Where do you keep it? So that the electricity consumption of that machine and the overall durability of the machine would not be reduced. You understand this? Of course, you should have the working principle knowledge, but also application is slightly different, because kitchen, of course, if you consider Vastu or not, kitchen is usually a warm place. Warm, temperature is relatively higher because of the heat released by a lot of cooking stuff, yes and no. And refrigerator, the compressor has to release heat outside to cool the objects inside. If the external environment is already hot or warm, the compressor would have to consume more electricity to cool the objects inside the refrigerator. And among all rooms in the house, which room is a warmer room? Kitchen. You get the idea? Just to give you a glimpse of what is application oriented question and why it is important to know application. You have to understand this. For example, many people ask, if we cut down few trees in a forest, what would happen? We had a question on this. Red sanders, you must have heard about, some movies also came up, yes or no? What is that? Pushpa. Red sanders. Pterocarpus santalinus is the scientific name of red sanders, which is endemic to Eastern Ghats, the southern tip of Eastern Ghats of India, because of temperature, the soil nutrient content and other weather phenomena. So endemism is what? Availability of certain species of organisms, whether plants or animals, only in certain regions of the world and nowhere else in the world. This phenomenon is called as species endemism. For example, red sanders, which is used in cosmetics, in musical instrument manufacturing, or in medicines, or for furniture making. We have lot of applications of red sanders, yes and no. And the quality, the price, all those would be different across the world. It is exported. So what would happen, because you know that if you talk to the conservator of forests in that area, they say 95% of the red sanders in the Eastern Ghats have been cut. Only 5% are remaining. What will happen if few trees are gone in a forest? Many other trees are there, animals can thrive on them. So this is where the concepts and application together will have a question. So in concepts we have governing principles of ecology or environment, which is called as what? Barry Commoner's law or laws. You will not find these Barry Commoner's laws in any of the books available in the market. I checked. And not in many YouTubes or YouTube videos or PDFs of many institutions you will find this. But it is important. What is that? You must have studied this principle in geography as well. What is the first law of geography and who gave it? Waldo Tobler gave it. And what is that first law of geography? Everything is related to everything else. That is how you start studying about universe. To start geography. Whether you take Gaussian Liang or you take any other book, you start with universe, Big Bang, whatever it is, and then you come to solar system, and then you come to Earth, and then you come to India, whatever it is. So big to small. So why you study about universe? Why do you study about solar system? Because they are related to you and you are related to them. Moon and sun, though very far, influence Earth, don't you think? That's the application of the first governing, that is principle in geography. Everything is related to everything else. Second principle is what? Closer they are, more influence they have. Farther they are, less influence they have. That's the second principle of geography, you know that. Yes. So likewise, in governing principles of ecology, we have a principle called as Barry Commoner's law. Everything influences everything else. Similar. That means one tree in a forest, its presence or absence will influence many other activities within the region. One nutrient in the soil, whether present or absent, will influence the entire soil fertility in that region. One water body in a given region will have influencing effect on many other organisms in that region. So in that way, so if you remove one species of organisms from a region, they will have detrimental effect on all other organisms eventually, if not immediately, eventually, if not today, tomorrow. If not a direct impact, indirect impact. So applications in general. And then you can connect these two with contemporary developments. Contemporary development. For example, the government of India, the Prime Minister of India very proudly announced that they are relocating certain leopards, certain organisms, wild animals from other countries, especially from Namibia we bought recently, and majority of them died in India. Kuno, Madhya Pradesh. Kuno is the wildlife reserve which comes under Kuno Palpur Wildlife Reserve. Once Asiatic lion reintroduction project was taken up by government of India. Asiatic lion, Panthera leo persica, was brought from Gir, Gujarat, because the habitat was shrinking. To conserve them, government of India brought them to Kuno Palpur, Madhya Pradesh. Lions could not survive there. Hence, they have been sent back to Gir. Now, we are bringing leopards from Namibia to India, again Kuno, and majority of them died. What is the problem? Don't we know whether they would survive here or not? Do you think they are objects? You can bring any object from anywhere and keep them in your house? Is it a supermarket, some object? Living organisms are? Can you relocate them as per your whims and fancies? What is the problem? You read that in the newspaper. Many of the leopards and cheetahs, whatever, brought from Namibia died in India after getting relocated. That is a current affairs you read in the newspaper. What is this? Why we want those organisms in India? And what do you want to achieve? you understand the importance, how they are connected, why they are not able to survive. No two ecosystems are identical on the planet Earth. Though they may look similar from outside, they are not identical from inside. And every organism or species of organisms are sensitive because of their adaptation, and they cannot survive elsewhere. If you bring penguins to Bangalore, do you think they would survive? If you send any person who is born and brought up in Bangalore to Arctic or Antarctic regions, would that person survive? Similar, you got the point. You get it? Now we would focus on such certain things which may not directly discuss about the questions which may come in the exam. That is not possible by any person. But our classes would help you understand the question better and choose maybe a better answer. The funniest part of this preliminary examination is, question is given in the exam and answer is also given in the exam. And you know what? Same questions to all, same answers to all. They are there in front of you. The problem is you can't see them, though you think your eyes are working. Yes or no? That's a cruel joke, isn't it? It's not a test of your eyes, is it? Then what is it? A test of cognitive abilities of your brain. Your brain has many functions. One of such function is cognitive ability. If you know cognition, in the exam you will have a recognition. You can recognize the answer. So this session is to improvise your cognitive abilities, so that in the exam, though answer is present, 99% of people fail to see the answer, though it is in front of their eyes. You must have given a lot of mock tests, yes and no. You must have seen many MCQs, multiple choice question, objective type. Objective is same for all, answer is same, question is same for all, yes and no. But still many people fail, though answer is in front of you. Usually the exam means what? Only questions are given in the question paper. Hence it is called as question paper. Why? Because only questions are given and answer script, because you have to give answers separately. Now your preliminary examination is a 2-in-1. Question and answer both are there, but you can't see them. What a cruel joke, isn't it? So next time, don't assume that you can see everything that is present around you, and whatever you see need not be right always. So don't believe your eyesight much. There are things which are present which you can't see. There are things though present, still you can't see. You get the point here? Okay. Now what I want to say is, in our so-called marathon sessions, we'll be having a quick glance at these two, and we'll give you tips on how to understand contemporary developments and integrate them with this. And we'll be moving little faster because of time constraints, you know that. Because you don't have all the time in the world, do you? No. Examination is just 1 month around the corner, yes and no. You want me to speak to you in Kannada also? You want me to speak a little slowly? Is it okay? Because we should have some understanding in the beginning itself, so that at the end of it we should not have any complaints about each other, yes and no. Because you are preparing for a very prestigious, glorified, hyped exam in India. So it is not simple. Hence don't expect you to learn in a simple way, and don't expect a person to stand here and deliver everything in a simplified manner, because it is not as simple as you think it is. Okay, yes. So enough of seriousness, you are so serious. I am Dr. K. Vinay Mohan, a medical doctor accidentally, and I studied from Bangalore, Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences, Jayanagar 4th T block. So I am from Bangalore. Spent most part of my education, including post-graduation, in Bangalore, but not now, 15 years ago. The then Bangalore was very different. On bikes we used to roam every street in Bangalore, every street we roamed. Now I don't recognize majority of the areas in Bangalore. The Bangalore which we roamed was a different Bangalore. Now it is little different. What do you call this change as? Development, urbanization. Back then we had a lot of trees. Now we have to search for few. Back then we called Bengaluru as Garden City. Now it is Silicon. You know that. What did we do, and what do we call it as? We call it as development at the cost of environment. Yes or no? Now it is pretty hot. Bengaluru is very hot. 38 degrees, 39 degrees. Yesterday 37 degrees. Pretty hot. When we were here, the temperature never crossed 32 degrees in Bengaluru in the peak summer, April, May. And suddenly there was rain. It was serendipity, a pleasant surprise for us. Every evening by 4 p.m. rain. Now, sorry, it is different Bengaluru now. Yes or no? I don't know, 15 years ago where you were, maybe in the school, yeah, running around, mommy, daddy, fighting with each other for chocolate and pencils, maybe, yes or no? It's okay, every person goes through that stage, yes or no? We also went, and you also did. Now you want to become IAS. Good. For what purpose? Keep that very clear. Why? A very important question you need to answer is why. Other things can be worked out. Why? The most important question you need to answer, not to others, to yourself. Don't worry much about others. At the end of the day, nobody cares what will happen to you, yes or no. You better convince yourself first before answering anyone. You get it? So why you? Why this exam? Why now? Why this subject? Have this question before you start learning anything in your life. Anything. Yes. Okay, getting back here. So emphasis would be more on concepts and applications in both environment and the so-called science and technology. And why you have to study? Consistently across for the past 10 years, consistently we have had these many questions. Put together more than 30 questions. The total amount of syllabus of these two areas is less when compared with other subjects like geography or history or economy or polity, whatever it is. Total amount of syllabus is pretty much lesser, but number of questions and marks they carry is very significant. Hence it is a good deal, isn't it? Low volume, high value, like a gold, platinum, diamonds. So you like gold? No, you don't like gold. Platinum, diamonds. You don't. There, I did not say they are ornaments. Gold is just a metal. Diamond is just a stone. Did we say ornaments? Not yet. There is nothing wrong. Yes. Why they are precious? Why they are valued so much in the world? Less values more. Yes or no? Less syllabus, more value. So there is a reason for you to like it, because it will give you benefit. Yes or no? When compared with other subjects which are high volume, proportionately lesser value. This is low volume, proportionately greater value. So know the reason why you should study this, because they will give you more questions, hence more marks. More marks, prelims clear, then only mains. Yes or no? So be very specific about it. Okay, getting back, first let's have a look at our environment here. Environment. So how do we understand this? For our convenience, we would divide the so-called ecology, and part of this is environment, into 5 different areas. 5 different areas. First one is fundamental concepts, which include multiple topics. Second one is environmental degradation on a short term basis, that is pollution. Third one is environmental degradation on a long term basis, which is also called as climate change. Fourth is biological diversity, threats to biological diversity and conservation of biological diversity, and various efforts by the Government of India and various international agencies. Fourth is miscellaneous, if we have any, including previous year questions, which will combine the legislations and certain institutions, which is completely based on what? Facts, factual. You get it? So for our convenience, we will divide this into, so in the next 10, 11, 12 hours, we will try to discuss about all these things, clear? Post which we will go to science and technology in the similar fashion, yes. So when we say concepts, what do we understand by this? We have a lot of terminologies, we had a lot of questions on this terminologies, and associated with this would be certain examples, certain terminologies here, certain examples. And then we will be talking about the organization, levels of organization in ecology, and then the laws of ecology or governing principles in general, and then the concept of ecosystem, and then the components of ecosystems, and then we have classification or types of ecosystems, components and classification types here. And then we will move on to the structural and functional aspects of ecosystems in the form of what? Your so called food chains. We had questions on this, we had a question on food web, we had a question on ecological pyramids, you must have studied. We also call them as Eltonian pyramids, because Charles Elton introduced the concept of ecological pyramids. It was a previous question, Eltonian pyramids. Yes, we had one more question, pyramid of energy is always upright, previous question, pyramid of energy, energy flows in only one direction from plants to animals, not the other way. It was a previous question, hence we need to talk about these things. And once we are done with this, we will go to the further concepts in the form of what? Further trophic levels, that is producers, consumers and reducers, or autotrophs, that is producers or the plants, and then consumers like herbivores, carnivores, omnivores and all. Yes, trophic levels. And once we are done with this, we will go to the biotic interactions. We had questions on this earlier. Biotic interactions, examples, especially examples are very, very important. For example, antibiosis. Certain fungi release certain chemical substances which are harmful to certain other microorganisms. For example, fungus, Penicillium notatum or Penicillium chrysogenum releases a chemical substance called as penicillin, which kills bacteria in its surroundings. What kind of biotic interaction is this? Or black walnut, Juglans nigra is a scientific name. So it releases a toxin called as juglone. It prevents the growth and development of other plants in its vicinities. This is called as allelopathy. So what kind of biotic interaction is this allelopathy? So unless you study about them, you cannot guess it. Guesswork may not help you in majority of the cases in civil service preliminary examination. Guess, because names are so different. Yes. So terminologies in the biotic interactions, positive, negative, neutral biotic interactions, and why they are important. Yes. For example, we had a question earlier in preliminary examination called as keystone species. Why it is important? For example, on behalf of Government of India, empowered by the Wildlife Protection Act, Government of India takes up projects, national projects for the conservation of certain organisms. For example, Project Tiger, Project Elephant, or Project Vulture, Project Saltwater Crocodile, or Project Gangetic Dolphin, Platanista gangetica, blind dolphin, Susu it is called as. Yes. So we have lot of such projects. Why you want to conserve them? Because they are keystone species. Now what is keystone species? Their absence would destabilize the ecosystem. They are very important for the balance of entire ecosystem. But tiger is a predator, often it eats human beings also, yes or no? It will attack cattle or animals in the villages nearby, it will kill a cattle, it will kill goats, sheep, it will attack human beings also. It is bad, isn't it? Now why you want to conserve it? Okay, leave about it. Elephant. You see in Karnataka, Kerala, elephants charge and destroy crops. They attack humans also. So for example, Bandipur Mudumalai forest, in between you go, we went on bikes. Wild elephant sightings are very common. Bandipur, Karnataka, Mudumalai, Tamil Nadu part, if you pass through in the middle of the forest, and some part of Kerala also would be involved here. Wildlife elephant corridor it is called as. So wildlife elephant attacks humans. Why you want to conserve it? Why you want to save it? You understand this? Vulture will attack and eat certain animals. Why you want to conserve it? Then comes the concept of keystone species. Why they are important? Entire ecosystem balance lies on existence or survival of one species of organisms. If tiger is not there in a forest, herbivore population would increase. They will consume all the plants. If no plant is there, no food is there, entire ecosystem gets destroyed. So we need tigers for ecological balance. So because they play a very key role in the balance of entire ecosystem, hence they are also called as keystone species. You see? Hence we should conserve those keystone species so that entire habitat, entire ecosystem would be conserved by default. Similarly, aquatic environments, crocodiles. You understand this? They maintain the balance. Likewise, yes. So it is important, biotic interactions. And then very important question we had last year also we had a question, biogeochemical cycles here. Sorry, we'll add one more. Biogeochemical cycle, also called as nutrient cycles. Last year we had a question, nutrient cycles. Yes, this is one more concept. And then the concept of ecological succession. Ecological succession. We can have a question like, for example, in the name of development, urbanization, urban development, then industrial development, infrastructure development, we go for deforestation. And to compensate, we grow forests elsewhere. Compensatory reforestation or compensatory afforestation we do. Is it equal to the loss we caused because of deforestation? That could be another question, yes or no? Is it equal to that? Now the question comes about ecological succession. What is the significance of this? And then we have question. And once we are done with this, we also had questions on what? The so-called the nutrient cycles and the biotic interactions. We have the bioaccumulation concept. We had a question on this. We had a question on bioconcentration. And we also had a question on biomagnification. Heard about this? For example, vulture population is declining in India because of irrational usage of veterinary diclofenac. What is a safe alternative to vultures? Safe alternative to diclofenac? Meloxicam. In majority of the books in the market, this meloxicam is not mentioned. You can go and search. You will understand this. But meloxicam is expensive. And Government of India is not distributing meloxicam on a subsidized price. And diclofenac is less expensive and is given to veterinary hospitals at a subsidized cost. Hence, people would use which one in India? Diclofenac. And diclofenac follows a path of biomagnification, and high concentration of diclofenac is harmful to vulture and it kills vultures. Hence, vulture population is declining in India. So what? Have you ever seen a vulture in your life? But your life is normal. I mean, apparently normal. Yes and no. You think you are doing well without vultures in your life. Then why does or who? Why somebody should care? Why would it matter to anyone? Do you think it matters to Prime Minister of India whether vultures are present in India or not? Seriously? Do you think it is important for IAS to discharge his or her duties every day, that whether vultures are present in the district or not? Do you think if you are an SP, vulture population in your district is important to you? You don't have time to deal with humans. Talking about vultures. Then why should anyone care about vultures? That is what. First one is, it is a scavenger. It removes the dead carcasses of other animals, thus cleans up the environment and prevents spread of diseases. Number 2, culturally it is important to Parsi community in India. It was the previous question. Parsi, you know Parsis, yes. So Parsis, once any member of that religious group dies, how do they dispose the dead body of that person? They don't bury, they don't burn. Now, how do they cremate? They offer the body of the dead person of Parsi community as food to vulture. Culturally, it plays a very important role because they believe that soil is pure. By burying, you may pollute the soil. They don't want to do it. Fire is pure. By burning a body, human body, you are polluting fire. Water is pure. Panchabhuta concept, you know. Hence, what should be done? How to let the soul of the dead move to heavens? We need a carrier. Who is the carrier? Vulture. They believe. They position the dead body of Parsi community member on top of a tower called as Parsi Tower of Silence. Once we had, when you go to from Hebbala, you go to Yelahanka or off Yelahanka, we had Parsi Tower of Silence. From here, if you go, it comes on the right. When we were here, now I don't know. Yes, Parsi Tower of Silence was there in the outskirts of cities. On top of that, they keep the body. Vultures would eat, and they don't touch the bones. Bones are allowed to become dry under sunlight and are mixed with limestone and coal, and they disintegrate, and the powder is allowed to enter the underground so that it becomes a nutrient composition of the soil. That's how they discharge the dead. Now in cities like Bombay, where the highest population of Parsi community is present, Mumbai, they don't have any other alternative, hence they are going for electric cremation. No fire though, but still they don't have any option. Hence, the Parsi community, which is a business community in India, which is predominantly well off, that is, they are rich, they are sponsoring the government of India's program of Project Vulture. They are giving money to government of India to protect vultures in India. So it matters to someone, may not be to you. Yes and no. So different people, different reasons. And vulture is also apex predator, we call it as. It consumes other organisms, thus maintains the population of other organisms in a given ecosystem. In general, okay, that's a keystone species though. So we have a lot of biomagnification because of diclofenac was a previous question. Safe alternative is meloxicam. That could be a potential question. So that is why you should study about these things here. So these are fundamental concepts, fundamentals, please understand this, fundamentals, basic concepts, basics. And then we will move on to pollution, climate change, biodiversity. Climate change and biodiversity, including pollution of course, majority of the questions you get. What do you mean by majority? 10 questions on an average per year in the preliminary examination. Because all these three would be part of triple planetary crisis. Have you ever heard about this? Important for your exam, UPSC, both the prelims and mains. There is a phenomenon called as what? Triple planetary crisis. That means most pressing issues. Crisis, plural, or crisis, singular. Triple, so the entire world is suffering from and is at the edge of being adversely affected by three issues. What are those three issues? Number one is pollution, number two is climate change, Number 3 is declining biodiversity. These 3 would be immensely detrimental to human growth and development, and that may harm the human interests in the near future. Hence, the most urgent issues humans across the world has to concentrate or focus on would be on pollution, climate change, and threatening or declining or the so-called biodiversity getting affected. So, triple planetary crisis. Hence, you have more number of questions from these 3 topics than any other topic in the preliminary examination. Small topics, more questions, valuable. In short period of time you can study and revise, and yet you can answer many questions, hence beneficial. Okay, so let's focus on fundamental concepts. Other things we can discuss, miscellaneous can be discussed, you get it? And PDFs or handouts would be given to you once we are done with the classes here. Yes, you can collect it from office people. Yes, so facts will be given in that as well. So concepts, fundamental concepts are the so-called basics. First, terminology. What is ecology? And we know that the term ecology. So we have a lot of people who are responsible for this. Ernst Haeckel is the one who introduced the term ecology in general, Ernst Haeckel. And then of course we had a lot of people here, so who are associated with the ecology here. It could be Joseph von Humboldt and Eugene P. Odum, who are considered as pioneers who studied extensively about ecology across the globe. So these are naturalists. Naturalist means who studies about nature here. Yes. So we have these 3 scholars who are associated with ecology. What is ecology here? It comes from 2 different Greek words called as oikos and ology, also called as logos. Oikos means what? Home, also called as habitat. Habitat is the place where you live, that becomes your habitat. And ology or logos means what? Logic or reason, and with which you study and document. So is about scientific study of habitat or home. So for all the practical purposes we will be using the term habitat more frequently. For example, Bangalore Chandra layout is your habitat, but a tiger's habitat is different, a vulture's habitat is different, a crocodile's habitat is very different here in general. Yes and no. And next term is what? Environment. Environment. Here environ is a French word primarily. What is that here? That which surrounds you, surrounding. Environ means what? Surround. That which surrounds, that which wraps you around immediately next to you. That becomes your environment. Environ here. So this is surroundings. So please remember, environment is part and parcel of ecology. Environment is part of ecology. Ecology is a bigger, broader study, whereas environment is your surroundings. You will understand this? Just understand, most people don't understand the difference, hence. Next, certain other terms here, certain other terms. For example, we had terms like ecotone, we had ecotype, we had terms like ecological niche or ecological niche. It doesn't matter whether American or British, it doesn't matter as long as you know the meaning of it and contextual usage of it. So niche or niche doesn't matter. So ecotone is, we had a question on this also, 2 different types of regions which are different ecosystems, and the junction area, the area which is present in between 2 different types of regions. For example, river and ocean, the place where they meet, you have a unique type of conditions. That region is called as what? Ecotone. For example, mangrove forests. You will understand this. For example, you go to West Bengal, you have Sundarban. Sundarban means one means forest, vana, forest. Sundar, why Sundar? Don't say beautiful. Sundari tree. Heritiara littoralis is the name of Sundari tree, or Heritiara fomes is the scientific name of the Sundari tree, which is abundantly seen with pencil roots, breathing root system, which is salinity resistant. You will understand this. And one more type of tree is popular, abundant in mangroves. What is that? Avicennia marina, which is used in Ayurvedic medicines also. Not only Ayurveda, herbal, Siddha, Unani, in all those, Avicennia marina tree, parts are used. This is also a mangrove tree. Sundarban in West Bengal, in Odisha, Bhitarkanika, in Andhra Pradesh, Koringa, and in Tamil Nadu, Pichavaram. These are the so called mangroves. On the west coast, we don't have much mangroves. Why not? Geography you must have studied. Coast, submerging coast, emerging coast, coasts are different. The east coast forms deltas. West coast you don't have deltas, you have estuaries. You understand this? So because of which the conditions are not favorable for mangrove forest formation. Yes or no? Except in some place of Gujarat. We had a question. At the Gujarat Rajasthan border we have mangroves. There swimming camels are seen. Preliminary question. Swimming camels. Nowhere else you can see swimming camels. Contradictory, isn't it? Camels live in those areas where there is no water or scarcity of water. Now, what is the need of swimming? You expect camels to swim. Where would they? The swimming camels are there. And the mangrove trees are consumed as food by those swimming camels. So, you see, there are questions here. Whenever something is off or abnormal or away from being routinely seen, that would be your potential question. Unique, very different, and is related to your everyday life. That becomes your question. For example, how is it possible? That could be a question. What? Do we have such thing? That would be the question. You have to understand this. So, those kind of things, yeah. So, ecotype is what? The types of organisms which are seen in certain regions. Ecotypes, yes. And then associated concept is what? Endemism or endemic species. Endemic means found plants or animals found only in certain regions and nowhere else in the world. For example, kangaroos, Australia. We know that. And then flying squirrels, Madhya Pradesh, Panna. You understand this? And then rhinoceros unicornis, Kaziranga, Manas in Assam. You know all these things, right? Tar, Nilgiri, tar, which tar? Mountain climbing goat-like organism, Nilgiris. You understand this? So, likewise we have a lot of such organisms. You will not find them elsewhere, usually. Gangetic dolphin, freshwater dolphin, which is blind dolphin, because of pollution they lost their eyes. Yes or no? We worship Ganga and we dump all our waste into Ganga. Yes or no? Including half burnt dead bodies. Varanasi, thanks to the culture. Some people eat half burnt dead body flesh. Some people discard the half burnt dead body, human body into Ganga, and then you worship Ganga. Ganga is goddess. Ganga is feminine and women. You worship lifeline and you pollute and you destroy the organisms living in it. Mutually contradictory, isn't it? Welcome to India. We are mutually contradictory in everything we do. We worship goddess and we hurt women. Don't you think it is contradictory? We worship rivers. We pollute all the rivers. We waste water. Religion preaches you water is precious. But every day you say you waste water. Do you waste something which is precious? You don't. But we do. In ethics, what do you call this as? GS4, ethics. No idea? Don't worry, we will talk about that but at a later stage. Let's go to prelims first. Okay, yeah. So you must have heard about cognitive dissonance, some things like cognitive dissonance. Okay, anyways, we'll talk about them later. So niche means what? Unique functional role. Unique functional role played by a species of organisms in a given region. You will understand this? Unique functional role played by a species of organisms in a given region is called as ecological niche or ecological niche. Doesn't matter how you pronounce, as long as you know the contextual meaning and usage of that term. Yes. Okay, some terms. Okay, enough of terms here. Next we will go on to some basics. What is that here? The governing principles. Governing principles. And before going to governing principles, just one focus on what? Because we are talking about ecology, let us talk about the levels of organization in ecology. That means how do we understand the ecology? Based on various levels of its organization with which it is made of, in simpler words here. So first one is what? As usual, individual organisms. Individual organisms make this ecology possible. So please remember, what is the structural and functional unit of life? What is life? That is where you become philosophical, isn't it? Yes, what is life? When do you call something or someone as living? Movement, growth and development, reproduction, multiplication, and one more thing is there, we have learnt in our college, ability to respond. So because you see in ICU, you bring a patient in the emergency casualty room, what do? We give inputs, we pick, we do everything, and we see whether the person is responding. If person is not responding, gone, history, RIP, go. Yes or no? We declare them as dead on arrival, DOA. You see emergency casualties, that's where action happens in a hospital, isn't it? Very serious action will be happening. Everyone is busy and nobody knows what to do. Yes or no? Sorry, you are not medical people, isn't it? Emergency casualty, ability to respond. For example, if a child is born, newborn, child must cry. Crying requires deep inhalation. Lungs would inflate because lungs would be collapsed inside the uterus of the mother, child's lungs. You understand this? Once they come out, they have to be independent. You have to breathe by yourself. You are no more dependent on the mother. Though you were once part of your mother's body, now you came out. You have to be independent. Otherwise, mother used to take care of you, but now you are separate from mother's body. Yes or no? So a child must cry. So that is a response to environmental stimuli. Hence we slap, we prick, we beat the newborn. Why? To cry. Ability to respond is life. Response to what? Response to stimulus, or stimuli is plural. Stimuli come from environment, your surroundings. Please understand this. That is where it is important here. Cell is a structural and functional unit of life. Multiple cells with similar structure, similar function are called as what? Multiple tissues with a similar function, but structurally they may be different. We call them as what? Yes, please? Organs. Multiple organs performing a similar function, having common objective or goal, called as organ systems. Organ systems. And multiple organ systems working together to provide life would be called as what? Organism. Organism. You understand this? So that is how all living organisms are made of cells which have the ability to respond. Hence cell is the smallest structural and functional unit of life. Please remember, the concept of ecology as introduced by Ernst Haeckel combines biology with geography. Of course, little bit of chemistry also, because pollution, climate change is all about chemistry. So biology, geography, in between little bit of chemistry. Hence it is not a singular subject, but an application and overlapping of multiple disciplines. Understand this. Okay, individual organism, you know that, living organisms. Do we have something called as non-living organisms? Brain first, mouth last. Use the brain first, speak last, hence interview is in the last, not in the first stage. Yes sir. Mouth should be the last organ to work, brain should be the first. Until you open your mouth, you are considered as a genius, you know that? Sorry whether you understand my context, the way we deliver the content or not. We deliver everything and we expect you to take it with a pinch of salt, not as it is. Yes or no? Life's like that. Don't take everything as they occur, as they appear to you. Context should be applied to it. If you can apply the context, you will be called as a person with common sense. If you miss the context, you don't have, then you become an idiot and you will enter into conflicts and argument and fight. Yes or no? Context with a pinch of salt means what? Even sweetest of chocolates have salt, you know that. Let me simplify. What is that? Cadbury's dairy milk. People get addicted to it. Once I was also addicted. They add a lot of salt to it, while manufacturing. You know that? Sweet with salt. So sweet also has salt. Just life's like that. Context differs everything and it differentiates everything. Okay, getting back here. Well, we can apply those things in ethics also. GS4 it is more relevant. Yes and no, context based things. Okay, what is that we are looking at? So, do we have something called as non-living organisms? Okay, call them as dead. Simple. Why you want to call them as non-living organisms? What is this? What is this? Non-living thing. Excellent. Dead or thing, non-living thing. So, do we have something called as non-living organism? Can we have? No. So, next time don't use the term non-living organism. We don't have such things. Non-living things, they don't live, they exist. They don't live, they exist. Living organisms, they respond. Non-living organism means what? Dead. It's called as non-living. It's not called as non-living organism, it is called dead organism. Living organism, dead and non-living thing. Only these three are there. So, this clarity is important here. Getting back, individual organisms, usually most organisms, almost all, are born from other living organisms. Unless you talk about NCERT books, theory of abiogenesis. If you have studied NCERTs, there is a phenomenon called as what? Life originated from non-living. In NCERTs you have, I think 6th or 7th NCERT biology have theory of abiogenesis. A lot of chemicals came together, they interacted, they formed cell-like structure, they started self-multiplying, and then you have a lot of cells, prokaryotic and then eukaryotic, and then here you are. You understand this? Okay. So, unless you are talking about that level, theory of abiogenesis, otherwise all cells are born or made out of or produced from previously existing cells. That means organisms are never alone, they are born to or they are part and parcel of other. That means they live in groups. So, groups of organisms which belong to same species, group of organisms which belong to same species are called as what? Population. So, here two terms here, group of organisms which belong to same species, population. So, what is species here? In general, what is species? You must have studied because you will be using these terms very frequently. What is species? Species means group of organisms which have certain similarities What kind of similarities are we talking about? Morphological similarities. What is morphological similarity? External appearance is same. How do you identify people whether they are related or not? They should look similar. Yes or no? For example, if you go to rural India village, if you go to your native village, people who are old people, how do they identify you? Oh, you look like that person, you look like this person, do you belong to that family? You understand this? Your eyes are like your grandma, your nose is like your father. People, why? That's the easiest, the first method. For example, if I have my nose here, mouth here, would you call me a human? You would hesitate. Why? Because I don't look like you. Do you understand this? So how do you identify? Through comparison. We don't have absolute identity to anything in the universe, the known part of the universe. Absoluteness doesn't exist. We don't understand that. We understand relative nature, that means comparison. For example, can you identify what is this? Can you name it? Unless you compare it with this or with this. You get the point? Comparison only. Humans are considered as evaluative animals. Through comparison, we arrive at some value, and then we attribute that to that living organism, a human, as the identity. Okay, getting back here. Morphological, that means external appearance, similarity. Then you group them under same species. Then anatomical similarities. What is anatomical here? Structural composition, internal structural composition or structures should be similar. Only one nose. If I have two noses next to each other, would you call me a human? You would hesitate. You understand this? Likewise, anatomical similarities. Third one is physiological similarity. What is physiological? Functional. The structures should perform same functions in a group of organisms. Then you call them as same species. And fourth and very, very important is what? Reproductive compatibility. Reproductive compatibility. What is reproductive compatibility here? That they successfully should mate and they should have compatibility between their gametes. Gametes should undergo fertilization and fertilization should form a successful zygote, and thus they should form offspring which is healthy, and this should thrive into the future. That's how you continue your genetic legacy into the future. Genetic legacy into the future. You are an example of the genetic legacy of your ancestors through both of your parents, biological father and biological mother. Yes or no? They contributed equally for your survival and existence. 50% each. Because they were reproductively compatible. Hence you call them as humans, and you call yourself as a product of humans. Can we have a child to a human and a dog? No, not yet. Human and horse, human and scorpion, human and snake. What is the reason? Their gametes are not compatible. Reproductive compatibility doesn't exist between gametes. Hence, though they may have their respective gametes, they don't fuse, they don't undergo fertilization, giving rise to a single viable fertile zygote. They don't form. Hence, we don't include those two organisms which cannot reproduce as same species. This statement was given by Charles Darwin in 1860s. Except for reproductive compatibility, there is no other valid reason to include human male and human female under same species. Who is speaking? Charles Darwin. You know Charles Darwin? Evolutionary biology. He authored a book called as Origin of Species. That book is available on Amazon. You can buy and read it if you have some extra time. If you want to know, if you are curious and if you are enthusiastic about a lot of things like not only science and environment but also about anthropology also. You get it? So, these are the criteria to be fulfilled for any group of organisms to be called as belonging to same species. And many things are common to organisms which belong to same species. Because of all these things, they look similar, they behave similarly, they respond to their environments similarly, and you can understand them based on the ground. For example, dog. You understand this? Wherever they are in the world, though there are breeds, but you can understand their behavior, you can train them. Yes or no? You can domesticate them. Why? You know their species. No matter which breed. Dog is a dog. No matter which breed. Yes or no? Because they have some things in common. You get it? Tiger is tiger. You get it? Snake is snake. Whether you feed it with your milk on Naga Panchami or not. Snake is snake. Venomous snake is venomous snake. Wherever it is in the world. You understand this? Why? Things in common. You understand this? Okay, getting back here. So, species. So, what do you call a group of organisms which belong to same species as? Population. Population, which is also called as a deme. What is that? Deme. Scientific study and documentation of a population is called as demography. You must have studied about demography in other papers. Yes or no? Population means deme. In science also we study about deme, gamideme, Mendelian population, lot of things. Yes, in genetics also. So, population means group of organisms which belong to same species. Okay, third level is what? Community. Community means what? Group of organisms which belong to different species, multiple populations of multiple species. So, that is called as a community. So, community is a group of organisms which live in a particular region which belong to multiple populations of multiple species. Community. Fourth is where multiple communities live in a region. That region is called as what? Ecosystem. Ecosystem is the group of organisms like community. So, multiple communities living in a particular geographical region. That region is called as ecosystem. And multiple ecosystems existing together with similar climate is called as a biome. For example, in geography you must have studied latitude. What is latitude or latitudes? Imaginary lines which run parallel to equator. Yes? What is the significance of latitudes? Why we need to understand the concept of latitude? Because the regions which are in the same latitude have similar climate. Hence, latitudes are also called as climate lines. Yes or no? That is why, though they are imaginary lines, they don't exist in reality. Why we study latitudes? For example, Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn we call. In between we have all the countries which are part of International Solar Alliance. Yes or no? Things are related to each other. And India has taken the initiative in 2021, that's a previous question also, to bring all the countries under or on one platform to cooperate and coordinate with each other to extract and harness and get the benefits of solar energy. International Solar Alliance, headquarters in Gurgaon, Haryana. International Solar Alliance. All the countries, though we have other countries which are away from or outside this torrid zone or Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn. Yes, but still 23.5 degrees north of equator and 23.5 degrees south of equator, these are tropical regions. 23.5 degrees north and south to 35 degrees north and south, subtropical regions. 35 degrees north and south latitudes to 66.5 degrees north and south, temperate regions. 66.5 degrees north and south latitudes to 90 degrees north and south latitudes, polar, frigid, frozen. circle Arctic, Antarctic. You understand the importance of latitudes. They are also called as climate lines. All the regions which are present at the same latitude across the world are believed to have similar climate, no matter which country or continent. Same latitude means same climate. Similarly, biome is that level of organization in ecology which talks about multiple ecosystems in a given region having similar climate. Biome, clear? And multiple biomes together with different climates, with multiple ecosystems in each, multiple biomes would constitute biosphere. Biosphere, for example, Earth is a classic example of biosphere. There is one more method of explaining biosphere. Biosphere is a culmination point. You know, you must have seen this Venn diagram in multiple places. Yes or no? So Earth is made of largely three materials. Number one is what? The so called lithosphere, that is your rocks, soil and minerals, you know, clay and all. Yes. Second one is what? Major part is what? Hydrosphere. This is lithosphere. And third one is what? The gaseous component, which is called as what? Atmosphere. Largely, broadly speaking, Earth is made of three elements. Yes or no? Broadly speaking, three elements. One is lithospheric element, another one is a hydrospheric element, third one is the atmospheric element, gases. All are equally responsible for our survival, existence. For that matter, any living organism on the planet Earth needs all these three in varying quantities. When all these three are present supporting life, that part of the Earth where optimum presence of lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere supporting life, that is called as biosphere. Another way of looking at the term biosphere. What is the other way of looking at biosphere we mentioned earlier? Multiple biomes put together would be given a term called as biosphere, and ecology studies about biosphere as well, and Earth is a classic example of biosphere, and we don't know any other planet or any other cosmic entity which is a biosphere. We don't know. We are still looking for some, and we believe that it may exist. Yes. So getting back here, this is levels of organization, and that especially we study about ecosystems. Ecosystem is considered as what? Ecosystem, you must have studied this already. If I may say that you must have studied this already, if I may say, without offending you. Ecosystem is considered as unit of ecology. Structural and functional unit of ecology is ecosystem. Hence, ecology revolves around the term or concept of ecosystem. The term ecosystem plays a very important role in our understanding of ecology. So, whatever we study, we will be using the term ecosystem very frequently. We would learn about it eventually, but before we go on to those ecosystem concepts here, we will talk about governing principles of ecology. Governing principles means they are also called as laws of ecology. Let me know if you need a break, because I will be moving like this till night also without having any sense of time and place, because we will be on a different level of consciousness. If you need a break, remind me. Is it okay? Done? Yes. So, governing principles are also called as laws of ecology or the governing principles. To understand ecology better, we will take the help of governing principles. We have three broad governing principles. First one is called as law of conservation of energy. First law of thermodynamics you must have studied, if I may say. The law of conservation, or the first law of thermodynamics, called energy. The governing principle of energy. Second one is the limiting factor principle, limiting factor, the law of limiting factors. The law of limiting factors, or the principle of limiting factors. Third one is the principle of homeostasis or the principle of equilibrium. Equilibrium means a kind of balance, kind of dynamic equilibrium we say. In ecology we use the term dynamic equilibrium, though contradictory, but still we will explain that. Yes, so 3 principles. So how does it work? The first principle is what? The principle of energy. We had a question on this also. Yes. So sun or solar insolation. Insolation means incoming solar radiation. Insolation. That's how we name it as insolation, or simply called as sunlight. Simply called as sunlight. We use the term every day. So sunlight here. So which reaction is responsible for energy associated with sunlight? Which reaction on sun? Excellent. Nuclear fusion is fusion of what? What is that? What are these? Nuclear fusion. Yes, please. You said hydrogen, but we don't have hydrogen here. Isotopes of hydrogen. Deuterium and tritium fusion results in the formation of helium. But associated neutron release and heat release are responsible for the light, heat and other things. We study sunlight under the heading of electromagnetic spectrum. You know that. Radio waves, microwaves, infrared, then VIBG, VIOR, visible spectrum, VIBGYOR we studied in school, then ultraviolet, and you have X-rays, you have alpha, beta and photons, gamma. Though gamma is not directly included in this, photons we include under sunlight. Yes or no? Packets of energy moving at the speed of light is photon. Yes or no? So we understand sunlight through electromagnetic spectrum in general. Okay. So sunlight is a source of energy, universal source of energy, and for us also in ecology conservation here. And when this energy reaches the earth, first organisms which can convert this energy into chemical energy. So this energy is radiant energy, is converted by certain chemical reaction by certain organisms. Please understand this. A simple chemical reaction here for simplification purposes here. What is that here? Sunlight. So formation of certain chemical energy equivalent and release of a gas. So through this photosynthetic process, energy, the radiant energy, sunlight is converted into chemical energy, which is called as carbohydrate, also called as saccharide, also called as sugars. Hydrate means what? Water. Hydrate means water. If it is associated with carbon, it is called as carbohydrate. Usually their numbers are indicated by N value. A minimum number possible for carbohydrates is 6, N value 6. Hence we have N value if it is 6, simplest, because this is the lowest possible naturally. Hence if incorporate N value as 6 here, it becomes C6. H 2 into 6 means what? 2 into 6? O6. This is called as what? Simplest carbohydrate, also called as monosaccharide, also called as simple sugar, or also called as what? Simplest carbohydrate, also called as glucose. Monosaccharide or simple carbohydrate or simple sugar, also called as glucose when N value is 6. Okay, little bit of chemistry, leave it, no issues. Yes. So radiant energy is converted into chemical energy through a process called as photosynthesis. Who will perform photosynthesis? Plants. Excellent. Is it only plants which perform photosynthesis? Plants inside the water. We have some plants which are small in size, inside the water. We call plants which are small and floating in the water, we call them as what? Phytoplanktons. Phytoplanktons are nothing but microscopic, floating, photosynthetic, aquatic organisms. Aquatic means water. Also certain algae and certain mosses. Moss means green, satin soft growth on moist surfaces, you see. Old walls which are moist. For example, I studied in a government school in a village. So, government school backside we had a water tank which almost always it was damaged and water was leaking. On the walls of that water tank, green satin soft growth will be there. That is moss. Government hospitals backside you go, all ruined structures will be there, almost always damaged. Yes? Nobody want to go and get treatment there in government hospital. Nobody want to study in government school, but everybody wants a government job. Everyone want to become IAS like you. And you say that you are right ethically, yes or no? Yes or no? You want government salary, government car, government servant, government title, government office, but you don't like government school, government hospital? Yes or no? And you say your decision is ethically right and you are right person. Yes or no? Say yes, so what? Why are you shouting kind of? Say. Yeah, so what? ಏನು ಇವಾಗ? ಹೌದು. ಏನು? Why are you shouting? Kind of. Think about it by yourself, whether you are really talking in a ethically rightful manner. Don't ask me, what should I do now? Relax. Your life, your rules, your decisions. You understand this? But I studied in a government school. I went to government hospital. You understand this? So, yes, I tried for a government job. I went to interview also. So, I guess I can say I was right. Are you? Did you go to government school? Did you get treatment in government hospital? Did you go to interview of UPSC civil service to become a government servant? Just say. Because if not me, somebody else would ask this question to you. Maybe in the interview. That's a soup, you know. Why? So many private jobs are there, you get more salary, comfortable offices, low stress, no political interference. Why you want this nonsense? They will speak like this to get truth from you. Don't say, I want to serve nation. No, don't say such words. Interview panel members lost hair because of listening to these kind of words. Meaningless words they are. Because 95% of the bureaucracy in India is corrupt, told by retired and resigned bureaucrats themselves. 90% corrupt system, you want to be part of it and you say that you want to serve the nation? It must be a wild joke. Why? Why IAS? Why you want to be? Personal benefit? You want to be celebrity? You want to open your own YouTube channel and side by side business you want to do? Introduce course and sell it in Chandra layout and get crores of money, publish a book, sell it across the country and earn crores of money. Side business it is. To get more dowry, yes? Or you want to take revenge on rivals? What do you want to achieve? Kind of questions. Relax. If not me, somebody else would ask this question. Prepare. Yes and no. Prepare. Because you have to answer. Because that's how the society is. People are waiting to question you. Yes or no. Whether you become successful or so called get into service or if you fail. People are waiting to question you, your decisions, your actions, your intentions. Everything will be questioned. Would be observed under microscope. Be prepared. Or don't care. Can you be careless in society? What if your parents ask you these questions? You have to care your parents. If not parents, who is responsible for whatever you think you are? It's only parents. Yes or no? You have to answer them. Okay, easy. So what is that we are looking at here? Energy. So plants, algae, phytoplankton, some blue-green algae, cyanobacteria and all, they can perform this activity and trap some of the energy into chemical energy equivalent carbohydrates. That's how we get energy. And by consuming plants, who will consume plants here? Plant eating organisms. We call them as herb means plant, vor means eater. Vori means eating process. Herbivore is a process of eating plants and thus acquiring energy. So plant eating organisms are called as herbivores. Yes, and then these are consumed by carnivores. Carnivore means flesh eating, meat eating organism, thus they get energy. But here one previous question I need to mention here. Plants synthesize energy through photosynthesis by trapping certain amount of energy in the sun. But sunlight acts as a catalyst only. Plants require carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and also water from the soil. So sunlight acts as a catalyst. What is the catalyst? Previous preliminary question, civil service preliminary question, catalyst. Don't say that it increases speed of reaction by not directly participating in the chemical reaction. That is the school level definition for school exam questions. Is this a school level exam question? And how can same definition be suitable here? Do you think you are the same person in every place for every time in front of different people? Then how can you give same answer which you gave in school to UPSC also? UPSC would laugh at you. Their laughter is a different type of laughter. They will fail you in the prelims and laugh at you. That is their mechanism of laughing at you. And you know society is waiting to laugh at you. Yes or no? I will also laugh at you saying that, hey, question and answer both were given in the question paper. You couldn't see? Well, you are a joker, then life is a joke. Yes or no? Serious joke it was. Serious joke? What funny stuff you are talking about? Serious joke? Contextually try to understand these words. Yes or no? They have some relevance to your life. You are going through that phase. Yes or no? Be prepared. Wherein 99.8% example is failure and 0.02% is success. Success is exceptional, rare. Failure is normal. So example is failure, exception is success in this case. So if somebody gets recommended to service, don't say that example. Who is example? Abundant, frequently repeating. So failure is example in this exam, yes or no? Success is exception, rare. You get it? 13-14 lakh people apply and 900 people get into service. What is the percentage are you talking about? What is the exceptions are never examples. Exception has a meaning to it. It is not similar to other which are abundant. Yes or no? So don't tell next time if somebody is a civil servant and got into service, don't tell them that example, he is an example or she is an example. They are not examples. They are exceptions. Next time, brain before mouth, mind over matter. Think before you speak. Next time don't say example. I want to set an example by becoming IAS. Sorry. You get the point? Would you be setting an example, precedence or example by becoming an IAS? No. That too, if you are from general category, only first 75 to 100 ranks only you will become IAS. Though you are part of 900 ranks, if your rank is close to 500, 600, 700, you will not get IAS. First 75 or first 100 only. Yes or no? It is not example, it is exception, rare it is. Okay, getting back here, what is that we are looking at? A catalyst. preliminary question, yes. That option was not there in the answer options ABCD, that which increases speed of reaction. No, that option was not there. Then what was the answer? Catalyst is that physical, chemical or biological substance or a factor like heat, light or pH or humidity, whatever it is, which decreases the activation energy required by the reactants. Decreases activation energy required by the reactants to form the products is a catalyst. You will understand this. And thus it forms carbohydrates, and thus it also releases gaseous oxygen. Hence we have free oxygen in the atmosphere around us. Oxygen, free oxygen as a gas was not available in the atmosphere 3.2 billion years ago. In the primordial atmosphere of the earth, primordial means at the time of formation of earth, around 4.6 billion years ago, there was no oxygen, no free atmospheric oxygen, oxygen was not there. Hence living organisms which are 99.9% aerobic means using oxygen, they were also not there. Then abundant oxygen got released only because of photosynthetic organisms. Because of plants you have oxygen. Then one more previous question. Which among these reactants is responsible for release of oxygen gas? Easy it is. Many people thought it is easy. If something is too easy, there is a catch. It may not be right. If something is too easy, don't believe it. Right things are rarely obvious. You understand this? Right things are rarely obvious. They don't appear too simple or too easy. It's a trap. Don't believe in something which is quite obvious, very easy, very attractive and luring. It's a trap. What is that are we talking about? Hey, CO2, O2 is there, O2 is there, O2, O2 match, CO2 is the answer. Yeah, LKG question, UPSC, what you are talking. That means you are wrong already. You are wrong already. Because it is too easy, too direct. It is not right. Then what is the answer? The first step in photosynthesis is, first step, photolysis of water, breakdown of water molecule using sunlight, ultraviolet energy in sunlight to split into H plus and O2. This is the gas which gets released at the end of it. So what is the source of oxygen by the end of photosynthesis? Water, not O2 is there, O2 is there. It is not the answer. Previous question are we talking about? Is it clear? Catalyst definition, previous question. Source of oxygen in the reactants, previous question. One more question is there. Little bit of chemistry here. There is one more reaction called as what? So, in the presence of oxygen, carbohydrates are broken down to release carbon dioxide, water and chemical energy equivalent, mediated by again catalysts. What are the biocatalysts inside living organisms? What do we call them as? This chemical reaction is called as aerobic respiration. This occurs in mitochondria of every cell of every living organism. Mitochondria release energy, hence mitochondria are also called as, in school you studied, powerhouses of the cell. Now you know it better, because energy is considered as power, because it is called as medium of transaction between cells and tissues inside living organisms. It's an energy currency. Okay, mediated by enzymes, respiratory enzymes. It occurs in mitochondria of cells. Then what happens in lungs? You call it as respiration also, yes and no. Then is it truly respiration which occurs in the lungs or not? Then what happens in lungs is called as what? Breathing, also called as gaseous exchange, not respiration. but some sources mention that what happens in the lungs is external respiration or extracellular respiration, and what happens in mitochondria is called as internal respiration or intracellular respiration or aerobic respiration. You understand this? So, lungs are not actually the places where the actual chemical respiration occurs. Simply exchange of gases would occur, inhalation, exhalation. Inhalation, you take in gas for oxygen, exhalation, you drive out the carbon dioxide from your blood. Through a process, again based on previous year questions, I am trying to explain the concepts. Through previous year questions, I am trying to focus on concepts. Through two processes, movement of such substances, chemicals or energy would occur inside the living organisms. Through two processes. First process is called as what? Diffusion. Second process is called as osmosis. Very important processes. We had questions from this in the previous preliminary examinations. What is diffusion? Movement of substances. What kind of substances are we talking about? It could be nutrients or wastes or gases, or simply we call them as what? Solute, that which dissolves in a solvent, thus forming a solution. You studied all these things earlier. It is a kind of revision for you, that is all. It is not something brand new to you, yes and no. Yes. So, substances, maybe toxins also, yes, maybe hormones also, maybe enzymes also, maybe drugs also, salts also, it could be anything, could be anything. Movement of such substances from an area of high concentration or higher concentration, from an area of higher concentration towards an area of lower concentration without the expenditure of energy across a usually a semi-permeable membrane or filter membrane or selectively permeable, that is called a cell membrane, plasma membrane around every cell of animal cells. Now we have, plant cells also have. From high concentration to low concentration, substances automatically move. Okay, leave it. You must have studied about thermodynamics. Thermodynamics, what happens? If one object is warm or hot, another object is cool. If you bring these two objects at varying temperatures in contact with each other, from where to where heat moves? From hot to cold, until both would come at same temperature. Energy moves from high energy heat hot to low energy, high to low automatically. You do not have to do, just bring them together. Simple it is, isn't it? Yes. So, and energy moves through various methods: conduction, convection, radiation. You know that. Why sunlight, high energy comes from sun to earth? Again, different methods are there: conduction, convection, radiation. So, sun is hotter than earth. Simple. If we were hotter than sun, sunlight will not come to us. You understand the concept. Comes from high to low. It's called as what? Here in this case, diffusion. So, oxygen concentration is high in atmospheric air and low in blood. Through inhalation, automatically oxygen enters lungs, and from lungs into the blood automatically. Through which process? Diffusion. Concentration of carbon dioxide is high in the blood, less in the atmosphere. Through exhalation from blood, carbon dioxide enters lungs and is driven out. Through which process? High concentration of carbon dioxide in the blood, low in atmospheric air. So, high to low, blood vessels to lungs and to the air, exhalation, carbon dioxide is driven out, oxygen is taken in because of diffusion. You get the point here. That is how automatically oxygen enters our blood and automatically carbon dioxide leaves the body through lungs. External respiration. Clear? So diffusion, for example, soil has nutrients, higher concentration. Plant doesn't have that much high concentration of nutrients. So from where to where nutrients move? Soil to plant. Through which process? Diffusion. Are you able to understand this? Similar thing applies to this salts, whatever nutrients you are talking about here. Yes or no? So that is how it is. Based on that, we have a lot of questions also. And osmosis. What is osmosis? Movement of, usually we call this, water is also called as what? Universal. Water is also called as universal solvent. Solvent is that substance which can dissolve a solute within it. You understand this? For example, paint is dissolved in, paint is not soluble in water. Turpentine, yes or no? Thinning agent, yes or no? Turpentine is a oily substance, fatty substance, yes? So now turpentine is a solvent. Are you able to understand this? Likewise. So anyways, for example, shark liver oil, cod liver oil can store vitamins, especially A, D, E, K. Then what is solvent here? Liver oil. Many people consume shark liver oil, cod liver oil, deep sea cod liver oils for omega-3 fatty acids and fat soluble vitamins, yes or no? Vitamin A, vitamin D capsules people take, they are soluble in fat oil. Solvent is liver oil because they are fat soluble vitamins, they are not water soluble. What are water soluble vitamins? B and C, B complex and C. Then based on this previous question 15 years ago I think, which vitamin deficiency diseases are common in humans and why? Water soluble or fat soluble? Wish it was true. Yes? Water soluble, I am just giving you a previous year question. We will talk about this in science and technology, but still. What are water soluble vitamins? B and C. What are fat soluble vitamins? Vitamin deficiency is almost always cause diseases. Which vitamin deficiencies are common and why? Which vitamin deficiency diseases are common in humans and why? Simple. It is not about subject knowledge, it is about common sense. Which vitamin deficiency diseases are commonly seen in humans and why? Based on common sense, answer this. Vitamin D, is it? Just choose one, you have options. A, D, E, K? A, B and C, B and C, A or A, D, E, K, A, D, E, K. On regular basis, humans, what do they lose more frequently, water or fat? Water? We lose water. Tears, vapor, sweat, perspiration, urine, we lose lot of water. Along with loss of water, can we lose water soluble vitamins dissolved in it also? Sweating, salty, skin becomes salty, isn't it? That means not only water we are losing all those dissolved substance in the water also. Yes or no? Now same question again, what is the question? Which vitamin deficiencies are commonly seen in humans and why? Now what is the answer? What is the answer now? Why? Because we lose water regularly. We don't lose Fat so regularly. That's a problem. That's an industry altogether. Yes or no? Fat loss industry in India is very big industry. All women want to lose fat before marriage. It's a big industry, cosmetic industry, Liposuction, bariatric surgery, yes, cryoliposuction, cosmetic, I don't know what not. It's a big industry. Yes or no? And gym, need not to say. By going to gym, you don't lose weight, you know that. You may actually gain weight. Muscle building will add weight to you. Going to gym for weight loss is non-scientific. You don't lose weight by going to gym. You may lose some water, dehydration, which you will gain in 24 hours. Dehydration, you lose water, but you will gain by drinking water. You understand this? Muscles will be toned up. That is different. It is not equivalent to losing weight. In fact, muscle build-up may add weight to your body. Forget about losing weight. You may come back with more weight from gym. So next time, don't try gym for weight loss. Because 80% of your weight is associated with food you consume and salts you consume. More salt, more water retention, more weight, bloating. More food, more empty calories, dead calories, more carbohydrates, more weight, more horizontal growth, more weight. Unless and until you control food, you will never lose weight. So by going to gym, can you lose weight? Answer is next time please educate your friends. Literacy is different, education is very different. Application, yes or no? Simple it is. Okay, which vitamin deficiency is common? Whichever you lose regularly. You lose water regularly. Along with the water soluble vitamins are also lost. Hence frequently you should consume these. But deficiency of ADK is rare. But if you have deficiency of ADK, that will be very serious. You understand this? Vitamin A deficiency causes what? Xerophthalmia and nyctalopia, dry eyes and night blindness. Very, very dangerous. Yes. D deficiency, you know that osteomalacia, you know all these rickets and osteomalacia, bones gone. E, sterility. You understand this? Reproductive health gets affected. K, blood doesn't clot if you have deficiency of K. Dangerous it is if there is injury. So all are serious, life threatening sometimes. Get it? For example, if a woman has a vitamin D deficiency, she cannot conceive and give birth to a healthy offspring. Pregnancy becomes very risky. Just one. So they are serious, very serious they are, but they are not common. They are rare. Unless you are starving and prolonged period of time you are malnourished, that is different. You understand this? Okay, anyways, getting back here. So, what are we looking at here? Osmosis. Osmosis is movement of solvent from where? Low solute concentration area to high solute concentration. Please be cautious. Because it follows one rule, high to low, doesn't mean that it follows same rule everywhere. This was supposed to be a revision class, isn't it? Low solute. What is a solute? That which dissolves in a solvent. You understand this? These are basic concepts. Low solute to high solute, water moves. This movement doesn't consume energy, hence the process is called as passive process. Passive is the process which occurs without the expenditure of energy, without consuming energy. If a process consumes energy, that process is called as active process. And this occurs across a semi-permeable membrane. Semi-permeable membrane or selectively permeable membrane. That means a filter membrane or plasma membrane in general. You understand this? Osmosis. Now based on this we have had questions earlier. For example, if you throw a watermelon into ocean water or salt water, what will happen to watermelon? Previous question. Based on the principle of osmosis, what will happen to watermelon? Watermelon is just a fruit, isn't it? You know watermelon, very popular, summers you might be consuming juice, watermelon juice, healthy, very healthy. More than 95% of watermelon is water only. Very healthy it is, hydrating, it may save your life also. It will give you some energy also. Yes? Low cost, very healthy, summers. What will happen to watermelon if you throw that into ocean or salt water? Oh, watermelon becomes salty from inside or from outside? Swell, is it? Think about it. Let me simplify. We are taking the example of watermelon and we are talking about surrounding salt water. Yes? So here for all the practical purposes, solute is equal to what? Salt. Where is high salt concentration? Inside the watermelon or outside the watermelon? Outside. That means where is low salt? Inside the watermelon or outside the watermelon? What is the definition of osmosis? Movement of water from low to high. Fruit becomes dry fruit from inside. Don't write all these things, okay? Watermelon becomes dry from inside. That means shrinks, not swollen, shrinks. Why? Now you know. If you jump and play in the salt water, ocean water, what will happen to your body? Shrinks, dehydrated. You become dehydrated. You lose water. Yes or no? Why? You know the reason. So, though you are surrounded by water, you still become dehydrated in ocean. You know the reason why. If you jump into ocean water and swim and stay for a long time, you may die. Why? You know the reason. Your body experiences dehydration before you feel thirsty. Don't assume that thirsty is when you should consume water. That is the last stage beyond which you will not survive. Feeling thirsty is the warning, last warning, not first warning of your dehydration. Do you understand this? Many people consume water only when they are thirsty. You understand now? It's a long shot. Yes? You get it? What will happen if you throw a dead animal or any animal or you jump into fresh water? Fresh water. You throw fruit or vegetable or an animal or you jump yourself into fresh water. What is likely to happen? You gain more water. You bloat. Okay, usually you see some dead plant or animal parts are thrown into water. Some dead animals, thrown into water. After a few hours they float with a lot of water, swollen. Why they get swollen? Yes or no? And they may explode also.